What's going on, YouTube? This is AA Ron here, bringing you guys PSBL Week 3 weekly recap. And as you can see up here, we have 4 battles. The week started back on what day was it? Sunday. There's a couple battles here and there, and I just did not get to it until now. So yeah, that's my fault. Alright, here we have Rock Hands, the Rocky Mountain Lichen Rocks, versus Gamer Geeko and the Redding Rapidashes. We have Haxorus, Alone, Sandslash, Suck, Raikou, Milotic, and Rhyperior taking on Ariados, Garchomp, Thundurus, Serena, and Gengar, and Scizor. Right off the bat, it kind of looks like Thundurus could have a pretty big game. That's what I would think. Serena might have a pretty decent game too, mainly being high jump pick and taking out the Rhyperior and Milotic. Vice versa, I do believe Hidden Power Ice on Raikou could be very dangerous, especially with the Garchomp there doing super effective damage to the Thundurus and the Serena, and then also Thunderbolts on the Greninja. Could be a very dangerous spawn. Let's get right into this match. We have Ariados taking on Sock 1v1. Goes for a Fire Punch, does over 50%, but the Sticky Webs do go up, and that is very helpful in the long run. The second Fire Punch does in fact take out Ariados, but the damage is already done because there is already webs, and I don't really see a spinner. Serena takes the Fire Punch very well and goes for a Play Rough, does knock it down to the Sturdy, and another Fire Punch takes Serena down to 3%. Still no burn, but the Serena is able to take out Sock with a knockoff, and out comes Raikou. Raikou goes for the Hidden Power Ice, I do believe. Could be Fire, but I'm not really entirely sure. Goes out into Scizor as the Substitute comes out, as the Swords Dance also comes out. Raikou is still sitting behind a sub, has leftovers, goes for a Calm Mind, as the Bug Bite is able to take out the sub. As we see that it is Life Orb Scizor. Goes for Hidden Power Fire is actually what it was, taking out the Scizor, and we have 5 versus 3 as Garchomp decides to come out. Switches out into Milotic. The webs lower the speed. Goes for a Swords Dance on the Mega Evolution. Goes for the Earthquake, not able to kill, but not able to go for Substitute after that. Garchomp is then able to take out the Milotic with a second Earthquake as he switches out into Lowland Sandslash, goes for an Earthquake, is able to take it out, unfortunately, as Rhyperior is able to come out now. And that thing falls to a Earthquake, as now Haxorus comes out, loses the speed, goes for an Outrage, is in fact able to take it out. And now we're left with Raikou, who loses some speed to the Sticky Webs, goes for an Outrage, is able to take it out, and Garchomp's able to sweep 5 Mons right in a row because of Swords Dance and the Sticky Webs. Very scary combination there. Look forward to seeing if this continues. As I am trying to hurry a little bit so that I don't know, I'm not talking forever. So now we go to the Kansas City Kartanas taking on the Miami Magikarps, Sceptile, Skarmory, Victini, Conkeldurr, Gyarados, and Gardevoir taking on Neolego, Rotom Frost, Guzzlord, Swoobat, Honchkrow, and Mega Gyarados. Gyarados versus Gyarados is going to be very interesting, especially if they both have Intimidate. Only one could have Moxie, that is Magikarp's Gyarados. Swoobat is very interesting to see, in my opinion. I don't really see too much that it can do, but I also see a lot that Neolego can do. Yeah, let's just get right into this. We have Skarmory going one-on-one against Rotom Freeze. Switches out in Conkeldurr on the Volt Switch, and that did nothing on the Volt Switch. So that's very interesting to see. As Conkeldurr switches out back into Skarmory on the Honchkrow's Brave Bird. It eats that up very nicely, and then switches out into Rotom again on the Stealth Rocks, which is very important later in this match. Also, the Volt Switch is in fact able to take out Skarmory, switches back out into Honchkrow as Victini comes out, goes for a Sucker Punch, not able to kill but does massive damage. V-Create is able to kill the Honchkrow. Excuse me as I have a hiccup. It is tied 5-5 as Neolego gets a free switch in, switches out into Gardevoir, who is able to trace a Beast Boost as eats up the Psyshock. Switches out into Rotom again. On the Gardevoir's Moonblast is in fact able to take it out, and the Beast Boost boosts the special attack of Gardevoir as he switches back into Neolego, which I do believe makes it Scarfed. Goes for a Sludge Wave, is in fact able to crit, unfortunately, or else he would have been able to take another one, I think. Mach Punch is able to do a lot of damage, which is very, very nice. Switches out into Gyarados, as Neolego decides to switch out into his own Gyarados, try to get the Intimidate, as he actually does. Waterfall, it only does about 18% to it. Switches out into Sceptile, as he Mega Evolves, goes for a Dragon Dance, and that forces Sceptile to Mega Evolve as well, but Gyarados does in fact have Ice Fang and is able to take out Sceptile, as a Crunch is able to take out Victini. We're sitting at 4 versus 2. Gyarados comes out, also has Intimidate, goes for a Crunch, not able to kill, but it does get the defense drop. Goes for a Dragon Dance, as a second Crunch is able to take it out. Gardevoir comes out, and Gardevoir is able to live a Waterfall, which is very interesting. Goes for Moonblast, is able to take out the Gyarados, but Neolego is faster and does in fact kill the Gardevoir, and we see Hoobi picking up the 3-0 victory with Neolego and company. For the third matchup, we have the Pokemaster Mike and the New York Metagross taking on Kid Icarus and the Inglorious Gliscars. We have Magneton, Deontay, Kieran Black, Lucario, Venomoth, and Spiritomb taking on Seismitoad, Sneasel, Azelf, Scizor, Tapu Koko, and Porygon 2. Porygon 2 is going to be super bulky. I don't really see a whole lot other than the Lucario that can take it out. And spoiler alert, it actually does do a lot of bulky shit throughout this matchup. Sneasel could put in a lot of work. I heard Mike actually put in Crush Claw on that thing just to take on the Deontay, and we can see how well that works out for him. We have Tapu Koko leading off against Venomoth. Goes for a Volt Switch, is not able to kill it, but does massive damage to it and switches out into Scizor as the Quiver Dance comes out. I think he was predicting a switch out into Magneton as he switches out into Tapu Koko. As we see, Tapu Koko is actually faster, proving that this thing is Scarfed. Switching back out into Seismitoad as Kieran Black decides to switch out. Knowing what he's going to do, switches out into Porygon 2 as the Ice Beam does come out and does about 25% to it, a little bit more actually. Switches out into Lucario, risking the burn, as Porygon 2 switches out into Seismitoad, does not eat that close combat well at all, as Leftovers still puts it in range for another close combat, as he decides to double out into Azelf on another close combat, which again does more than half, but instead of switching out, Lucario stays in, does not eat up a Power Punch, as Spiritomb now comes out, goes for a U-turn, not able to do a whole lot, but our Pursuit is able to take out Azelf, and we're sitting at 4 versus 5 as Sneasel does in fact come out, go for a knockoff, and takes out the Spiritomb. Mega Deontay comes out knowing that the thing is banded, switches out into Mega Scizor, predicting the Mega Scizor, and goes for a Hidden Power Fire, then switches out into Magneton on the U-turn. Nice prediction there by Mike getting out of the Magnet Pole. Now Earth Power is able to take on the Magneton. Did not have a good switch in there, so I agree with that play. Goes out into Kieran Black, goes for an Ice Beam, is able to take out the Seismitoad, and we're still sitting alive as Porygon 2 decided to come out now. Switches out into Mega Deontay on the Tri-Attack, does 29%, does get the burn, which does matter down the road a little bit. Doubles out into Kieran Black, I don't know why, as a Recover does come out, but Porygon goes for Focus Blast, misses, but he goes for a Recover instead. Goes for another Focus Blast, and it does over half, as a Tri-Attack is able to do a pretty decent amount to Kieran, as he goes for another Focus Blast on the Koko switch in, not able to hit, but it doesn't really matter anyway. Dazzling Gleam is able to take it to Kieran Black out, and we're sitting at 1 versus 4. Switches back out into Porygon to try to eat this Diamond Storm, and he does 16%, and what does get the defense raise, but it doesn't really matter because Porygon 2 is his special attacker. Goes for a Moonblast, not able to take it out, not really not that it really matters anyway, but a Moonblast takes out the Porygon special attack rise, as now Porygon 2 is just going to be stalling Mega Beyonce for the rest of the turns, as we are witnessing right now. With just Moonblast and Recover and Try Attack are the only moves being used for the rest of the turn. Or for the rest of the game, I should say, as the last one does not take it out, but the burn actually does, so that means showing that the burn actually did matter towards the end. First one from Mike, so congratulations to him. Last up, it is me, the Buffalo Bouffons, taking on the Bryce and the Illinois Illusions. Before I get started, I just want to apologize to Bryce for the confrontation that I started after our battle. I'm not mad. Spoiler alert, I did lose this match 5-0. And then afterwards, I kind of did a mini rant on that I'm not giving Bryce the credit for the win. I'm giving his team for the credit, because he does, in fact, have Stall on this team with Crest, Umbreon, and Mega Steelix. Not saying that it's the biggest Stall team. That's not what I'm saying. Just want to say that I do apologize for what I said. I did not mean to cause that confrontation. I just don't like facing Stall. That's it. Stall is not impossible to beat. There's ways around Stall. I've beaten Stall multiple times, actually. I just hate facing it all the time. Not all the time, but like when I face it, I hate facing against it. That's all I wanted to say. I didn't mean to start a whole confrontation, and to Bryce, I do apologize. Oops, I didn't mean to start it. But we see who's starting, but we have Venusaur, Rotom Heat, Licky Licky, Mega Lopunny, Zygarde, and Klefki taking on Cresselia, Toucannon, Umbreon, Steelix, and Tapu Bulu, and Mega Steelix and Gengar. Right off the bat, I saw right off the bat that my Scarf Rotom Heat did a lot of damage. I even had tricks for Cresselia. For that reason, Toucannon dies to a Thunderbolt. Umbreon is able to wall it. Steelix dies to an overheat. Bulu dies to an overheat, and Gengar. Turns out it was Scarf, but was not going to be able to take an overheat at all either. So my plan was to try to keep Rotom Heat as best I can. Oh my gosh, I'm just pressing all these buttons right now. Wow. At the same time, I was super afraid of Tapu Bulu. It wrecked house. That's why I even put Grassy Seed on my Licky Licky. But we see that Rotom Heat and Tapu Bulu does start this matchup. Switches out into Umbreon, knowing that he can take anything. Goes for Will-O-Wisp, but unfortunately I do miss. But it doesn't really matter. It heal well anyway. Decides to switch out into Klefki, not knowing what he wants to do. Klefki eats that foul play very nicely. Goes back out to Tapu Bulu on these spikes, as I go for a Reflect just to see what he wants to do. He goes for a Wood Hammer, and that proves that it was in fact Scarfed, as Chrissy Train does take advantage, and he switches out into Toucannon. I don't know if he was predicting my Venusaur or what, but that was a very good play on his part, as I decided to switch back out into Klefki to take any hit, as that Beak Blast only does a little bit. Goes for spikes, as he goes for a Defog, which was very good play on his part. I go for another Reflect just so I don't have to take any damage, as much damage, as he goes for another Defog on my Play Rough, which does do a good decent chunk, 37%. Switches out into Steelix on my Play Rough miss, but obviously that doesn't really matter. I go for a Reflect as he goes for a Stealth Rocks, as I go for Spikes so that he himself can get rid of those Stealth Rocks later down the road. As Zygarde does come out, go for a Dragon Dance in case that he wants to switch. He does not, he just goes for another Roar as my Mega Lopunny comes out, and here is actually where I lose this match. I'll go for a Fake Out. Obviously not going to do a whole lot, but I just wanted it to get as much damage as I can. Missed the first high jump kick. If I did not miss the first high jump kick, that first heavy slam was only going to do a little bit, and I would have killed on the second high jump kick. But instead, Mega Lopunny does go down after only dealing a little bit of damage, as my Zygarde comes out, as he switches out into Umbreon on my 1000 arrows, not able to take out the Umbreon. Obviously, Umbreon is very bulky. I decided to go for a Toxic, just try to get as much damage as I can, but it actually just backfires on me because, as I said before, it actually has Heal Bell. Go for a Dragon Dance on the Heal Bell, and he just goes right back up to full health. And this is why I hate facing Stall, because of that Wish Umbreon right there. Goes for foul play, is able to take out side guard, and I'm already down 6 mons to 4. So I decide to go Venusaur right now. Go for Elite Seed, try to get damage on this Umbreon as much as I can. Decide to double out into Rotom on his double out into Toucanon, and here's also where I lose. I lose my Choice Scarfer because I thought he was going to switch, predicting a Volt Switch, excuse me, but he goes for stays in and goes for a Rock Blast instead. It actually didn't matter now that I see it. It was Focus Sash, so he would have lived the hit. Go ahead and Klefki as he switches out into Cresselia on my second layer spikes. Try to get rid of these rocks when he switches back out into Cannon. He goes for a Psychic as he switches back out into Cannon on my Play Rough. As he goes for Defog on my second Play Rough now. As now he is forced to switch out because he used his Choice Card into Gengar. As I switch out into Venusaur, he actually has Psychic, which does do a decent amount to me. Leech Seed is able to do some damage as he switches out into Umbreon on my Synthesis. As now I go for a Leech Seed, he goes for a Wish now. Obviously, this Wish is just going to go right out into Mega Steelix. As he basically goes up to full, but my Leech Seed does bring it down just a little bit as he switches back out into Umbreon, as my Giga Drain just absolutely does nothing. And this is why I really hate Stall. Seeing that the only way I can win is to try to poison it, go for a Sludge Bomb as he goes for Protect. I guess I'm trying not to get a, I don't know, trying not to get poisoned, I guess. As now he's basically up to full even after my Leech Seed switches out into Tapu Bulu on my Sludge Bomb. I was able to kill one, so that's really good. But he just messed that up a little bit. He should have easily won that 6-0. Goes for Psychic. Psychic's not doing anything. As my Klefki go for a Light Screen as a second Psychic only does 7%. I realized that my Licky was not going to be able to do anything if I didn't use it now, so I decided to switch out, get my Grassy Seed, and now he switches out into Steelix, go for a knockoff, trying to get that Mega Gengar there, but it's not gonna. He just switches out into Steelix, knowing that he can wall me, which is fine. Try to go for a Body Slam, try to paralyze him as best I can. Go out into Umbreon, try to paralyze it, but it's really not going to matter too much. Go for Protect, see what he wants to do. As he just has a Wish. I don't know why I protected there. I should have just tried to go for something. I go for a knockoff, predicting something like a Gengar or something, but instead it's Toucanon. I decide to go for a Wish as a Beak Blast does not do a lot at all. Switches out into Mega Steelix on my Protect, trying not to get burned because Licky is the only thing that can really help me. Go for a Body Slam, not going to do a whole lot at all, trying to paralyze it. So it goes out into not Mega Venusaur, just a regular Venusaur. Goes for a Leech Seed as a Heavy Slam, does do massive damage, but I am faster with Synthesis and trying to get as much damage as I can off. Goes for a Synthesis on the Umbreon switching, and we're only like 3/4 the way done at turn 50. I tried stalling him out as best I can with my non-stall team. All my offensive threats are basically gone, so like his stall team is really just gonna whittle me down. I did mess up on the Rotom play. For the rest of this is basically the same thing. I Leech Seed a lot of things, try to whittle it down. Switches out into stuff. I Leech Seed again. Switch out into Klefki. Actually, Klefki does die right here to a Hidden Power Fire, I do believe. As he switches out, I switch out into Licky, trying to get a something off. I do get the Body Slam off, predicting something, I don't know. But yeah, this is basically just really stally shit. I messed up on the Rotom play. I should have just went for the attack and saved it for later. Because really, Rotom was my win mod. I would have loved to scarfed the Umbreon or even the Cresselia. That would have been great. But so yeah, I messed up there. Mega Lopunny was where I lost because Mega Lopunny would have been able to take out the Toucanon and these Mega Steelix, and do a lot of damage with Fake Out to Gengar, as well as High Jump Kick to the Umbreon. And also it had Toxic for the Cresselia, so that I could whittle it down that way. Like, I had a team that I felt was really good against Bryce, but he just outstalled me, and that's why I hate facing against Stall, because I had a good team against his team. It's just, it's very hard to go around Stall, and I didn't do it properly. So he's able to go for a knockoff, gets rid of my Black Sludge, which is half of my recovery, switches out into Umbreon again. Like, when you listen to my recording, I'm gonna sound very bored around this time. Like, just wanted this battle to be over with. I almost rage quit because I really hate facing that Stall. But he did what he had to do to win, and I can't judge him for it. He did what he had to do. But I still just hate Stall. So finally, Venusaur does go down to a Psychic from Gengar. Go ahead and Licky Licky, as I'm just gonna try to stall him the best I can, but I think I only last a few more turns. I don't really remember. So yeah, that's really basically it. I don't know what he was doing there, but whatever. Sludge Wave, not able to kill me. Get rid of its Choice Scarf, which was able to outspeed Lopunny. I even said that at the beginning of the battle. I thought that Gengar was scarfed. But again, I do apologize to Bryce. I was not trying to start anything. I just wanted to share my feelings, that's all. I think he was trying to synchronize a Paralyze when I was trying to get on him. Final Play does nothing. So, yeah. It does get evacuated the Paralyze, and he just whittles me down. So, yeah. See you guys next time. And we are on Thursday right now, just a few days before the end of week 3. We have Big Tucker and the Twinta Tentacles taking on Lucy Goosey and, excuse me, the Edmonton Coilers. Blacephalon, Hydreigon, Azumarill, Alomola, Mechacamerupt, and Rayonaclus taking on Volcanion, Gigalith, Stoutland, Lando T, Celebi, and Mega Beedrill. Can't wait to see if Mechacamerupt finally does something for a change. It did not do anything last week other than just die to 2 Psychics. Although it is a very scary team for Mechacamerupt to face, as there is a Gigalith, a Landorus, and even a Mega Beedrill, even a Volcanion. But let's see how Lucy is able to go around that, as Alomola goes one-on-one against Gigalith. Toxic comes out for Gigalith as a Stealth Rocks. Toxic onto Gigalith as Stealth Rocks, as my TV is just going off. Switches out into Celebi on the Scald. Does not get the burn, unfortunately, but it doesn't really matter because of Natural Cure. Alomola decides to switch out into Hydreigon, fearing the Leaf Storm. Goes for a U-turn. Actually does not kill. I do believe that means it's defense investment. Goes right out into Camerupt as the Thunder Wave comes out. Obviously not doing anything. Switches out into Landorus, predicting a fire type move, but instead Stealth Rocks comes out, which I do believe does come to be a factor later down the road, as Mola switches into an Earthquake, switches out into Gigalith, getting that Sandstorm back up, creating this continual damage on Alomola. As now Gigalith doubles out into Stoutland. I don't know what he was predicting there, but a Protect comes out. Obviously not going to do anything because of the switch out. Great, getting Alomola back up to full health, basically. Return does a pretty good chunk to Alomola, seeing the defense that it has. Down to 51%, switches back out into Gigalith to, I don't know what, but Blacephalon comes out on the switch, and I don't know if Big Tucker predicted that, but it was a very good play on his part in the end game. So Blacephalon switches back out into Alomola on the Toxic, which it does prove to be a big deal, as now Toxic damage is going to rack up. To continue the Toxic damage, Gigalith decides to Protect. and get it down, whittled even more, even though it is whittling itself down as well. Volcania decides to switch out on the Wish from Alomola, switches out into Hydreigon as a Sludge Bomb. Does do pretty good damage, but does not get the poison, however. Wish brings it back up to full health, switches back out into Alomola. With Rocks, it does die to a Sludge Bomb, unfortunately, so that means it is done with the Alomola. Switches right back into Hydreigon, goes for a Dark Pulse, not able to kill. Sludge Bomb, not able to do a whole lot, but does in fact die to a Earth Power. Gigalith now comes out. It's sitting at 39% toxic and in the sand, so that means it does in fact live the Earth Power from Hydreigon, as it does go for a Toxic, and a U-turn is able to take out Gigalith, switches back out into Leoniclus. It does take Rocks damage, so we see that it is most likely Regenerator. Switches out into Hydreigon on the Stoutlands. Crunch does not take it out, but instead Toxic damage does take it out, so Gigalith does in fact get the first kill of the season. Stoutland switches out into Celebi on the Z Belly Drum from Azumarill, which does take it down to 50%, but everything is such a low health or weak to Azumarill, or just have poor defenses, that Azumarill will be able to clean up here with Aqua Jets. Even with the Intimidator right there, Aqua Jet is still going to kill the Landers. And now Beedrill comes out, and it dies to a Aqua Jet, and that just leaves Stoutland and Azumarill now, and Azumarill is able to take out the Stoutland, and we have a 4-0 victory by Lucy Goosey. He is now 4-0. Congratulations to Lucy. That is why you always have to keep something in the back for the Azumarill. If Big Tupperware was able to keep the Volcanion, it would have been able to take on the Azumarill, I do believe. But good game to both of you guys, and catch you guys in the next one. And we are back today, and today is Friday night. Excuse me if I sound a little tired, I just woke up about an hour ago, and I'm still waking up, so feel a little groggy right now. But anyway, we have your bro Jake and the Anaheim Arcanine taking on the Winner 64, and he is, gosh, what the fuck? The Charlotte Beedrills, that's what it is. We have Mega Houndoom, Nidoking, Dragonite, Donphan, Aromatisse, and Jirachi taking on Mega Pinsir, Ribombee, Goodra, Type Null, Blissey, and Garchomp. Pearl, fuck you for bringing both Type Null and Blissey, just fuck you. That is a dangerous defensive core right there, and it does not help that Ribombee with Sticky Webs is there too, and he did bring Sticky Webs, boy out there. Donphan needs to stay in and stay alive and just go for Rapid Spin. That's what Jake needs it for, definitely, because of the Sticky Webs. Or else I do believe that he does just lose to Pinsir and Garchomp with Earthquake and other moves such as that. But let's see what happens during this battle. As we have said Garchomp taking on Nidoking. Garchomp does not have good battles, he just switches into the damn Type Null. The first battle that he's in, and he's already one of the top defensive mons. Eating up all these hits, the frustration almost taking out a Mega Houndoom, trying to get a flinch, but nope, another Sword Stance comes out. Can he get a flinch this time? Nope, and that just means a rest comes out, and this is why I just hate Pearl so much. I'm glad I don't have to face him this year. Luckily, he does get the frustration on the Sleep Talk, getting rid of the Mega Houndoom, trying to set up in front of him. Aromatisse comes out just for the Reflect. Nice play there by Jake as he switches out into Jirachi as Type Null does wake up. Drain Punch is not doing anything because how much bulk this thing has. Frustration behind a Reflect to a Resistant Mod is doing a lot of damage, and it looks like Jake is going to be losing this battle. It's like 6-0 against a Type Null. This is why we all hate Pearl. But this is not the end of the battle, don't worry. This does go on for quite some time. I do believe Jake makes a switch very soon. I think the turn that Reflect wears out. I think. Is he just gonna get rest on another sleep dog? I'm gonna go try to get a. No, can't get the crit because of the type null's ability. That's right. Damn type null. I think that's right here. Yeah, right here he goes out on Donphan. Luckily, still no frustration. There's a sword stance there. The reason why he goes Donphan is because of a. Oops, wait. Type null is faster. Superpower, which does over half to it, but unfortunately that means he loses some attack. Just goes right for the rest on another superpower, I believe. Yep, another superpower. Lowering the attack even more. He still stays in, which is very surprising in my opinion. As nope, nothing. Only does 28, which is definitely not enough against this thing. Rest again, which is very good. Trying to take rid of this Aromatisse and does, so he can't set up Reflect again. Goes right back out in Donphan. We all know that it is faster now. But I do believe, yeah, it was able to do 54 that time. Still stays asleep, which is good. Superpower is not going to kill, but it does get it to 10%, where a luckily does not wake up, but Sturdy does bring it down to 1%, and Donphan is able to get rid of the type null finally after 24 turns, eating up 15 hits in just one game, which is just crazy. Surprisingly, Mega Pinsir is able to eat a ancient power from Jirachi and kills that Jirachi. Ice Shard is able to kill the Pinsir right there. Ice Shard doing some more damage, and this is why you needed to keep Donphan healthy. Sticky Webs is able to go down, and now Nidoking is going to be hindered, which could come into effect later. Dragonite comes out, and before we go on, we see Dragon Dance right there. Pearl insisted on me telling everybody that the reason why he switched in Goodra to a Dragonite that was obviously going to set up Dragon Dance is because he had the Haban Berry, the Dragon Resist Berry. He asked me, he almost begged me, I wouldn't really classify it as begging, but he made a point that he wanted me to tell everyone that it was the Dragon Resist Berry that was on Goodra, so he was going to live in Outrage. Ice Punch does come out instead and taking out the Goodra. Next up comes Chansey as Dragonite decides to Dragon Dance again. Seismic Toss does break the multi-scale. Extreme Speed does do a lot of damage to Blissey, but he switches out into Garchomp, and the reason why he did that is because of Rough Skin and Rocky Helmet damage, bringing it down to 11. It goes for an Ice Punch, does in fact take out the Garchomp, but it takes him out instead. I'm going to pause it again right here, because Jake, after the battle, told everyone that he was the Outrage on Dragonite, and he thought that Outrage was going to do the same thing anyway. So he just went for like make contact and then killed from Rocky Helmet and Rough Skin damage, but instead it would not have done that. He would have won with this Dragonite, but he did not know that, so then he sacked it with an Ice Punch. Nidoking comes out, goes for a Rock Slide, not able to kill. The Figgy Berry comes out, does confuse the Blissey though, as he switches out into Rabombi trying to get the Wish up, but instead Rock Slide is able to kill. We have Blissey versus, I do believe it was a Scarfed Nidoking. Wish comes out as another Rock Slide, does not able to kill. Seismic Toss, not going to do so much, and we're going to just see this bulky thing just eat so many hits from this Rock Slide. Pearl, I think, has 2 Mons in the top 10 as of right now. I mean, as of this moment, I have not done the defensive top 10 yet, but once all the battles are done tomorrow, then I will. So yeah, this just goes on till right now. Actually, I was gonna say for some time, but I was wrong. But good game for both teams. Surprised Jake's only 1 and 2 as of this time. I'm sure he's gonna go back to his winning ways. He's a very scary team. But damn, I'm so lucky I don't have to face any of these two. Alright, I'll see you guys in a sec. And I'm back, guys, and today is Sunday morning. I have 3 battles for you. All these 3 happened Saturday night, all at different times. First off, we have DB Center and the Dallas Dragons taking on Devil's Crime and the Philadelphia Star Maze. We have Alola Ninetales, Halucha, Volcarona, Rhydon, Zapdos, and Pyukumuku taking on Hippowdon, Excadrill, Vaporeon, Buzzwole, Mega Mawile, and Necrozma. GB Center has been on a tear, 6-0 and 5-0 his last two opponents respectively. Well, Chris is still looking for his first win, so just by that measure of standings, it should be a blowout for GB Center. But spoiler alert, it's not. Chris put GV to the metal. No, that didn't really make sense. Well, you guys know what I mean. I just woke up about an hour ago, like I did yesterday, so bear with me. That's probably why my voice is a little groggy. But let's get right into it. We have Zapdos leading off against Hippowdon. Hippowdon decides to switch out an Excadrill, thinking that he can eat whatever he wants, and he actually ate the Toxic very nicely. Predicting a switch into, I think, Ninetales actually, I don't know why. It goes for Poison Jab. As a Heat Wave comes out, Zapdos decides to roost. Wait, does he? No. Rock Slide comes out. Zapdos decides to roost so he can get as much health as he can, but sees that he cannot live his second Rock Slide, so he switches out into Pyukumuku, which did not take that very well because of a correct, which is very good damage for Caress on that Pyukumuku. It really did help. Switches out into Vaporeon as on the recover from Pyukumuku. Pyukumuku decides to switch out into Alola Ninetales, try to get up the Hail, so he can get up the Aurora Veil up as Vaporeon decides to Wish. Switches out into Mawile on the Freeze Dry, which is a very nice play. Mawile is now at full health as he switches out into Pyukumuku. Gets hurt a lot by the Stone Edge, as he is not going to be living a play rough from Mawile. Only took 2 hits in that match. Pyukumuku did not do too much. And now Ninetales comes out, goes for Aurora Veil on the Power Up Punch by Mega Mawile, which is very scary. I don't think he has really any good switch ins. Goes for a Rhydon. Did not take that well behind a Aurora Veil. Goes for an Earthquake on the Vaporeon switch in and dies to a Scald from said Vaporeon. Lucha decides to come out, goes for a substitute, and Vaporeon goes for a Scald, which is very weird because Vaporeon actually had Ice Beam, as we see later down the road, but GV Center is just trying to get a good low roll on this Scald from Auroraville so that you can get rid of the... So you can get up to ×3. Goes for another substitute, as the Citrus Berry does get him back up to half health, and it's an Ice Beam right there. As we saw, I don't know why Chris didn't use Ice Beam beforehand, but probably trying to get the burn or something like that. As Ice Beam is not able to get the freeze, Vaporeon does go down to a Drain Punch, and Hawlucha's at about 50%. Switches out into Hippowdon, thinking he can live a hit, but it turns out he does, but then he can't do anything in return. So then, seeing that, he just decides to sack it off, as Hawlucha's basically at full health yet again. Switches out an Excadrill, thinking that he's faster and can do a lot of damage, but he's not faster, but does in fact take out the sub, or else that would have been very dangerous. I do believe that would have been the game right then and there. Necrozma decides to come out. He lives a Stone Edge, and then goes for a Z. I do believe Psychic. I'm not entirely sure what it was. But now, because of free switch into Volcarona, and he just sacks the Volcarona from there. It goes out into Buzzwole now, thinking that it has a Stone Edge, might be able to lose, but instead has super powered. Chris did not run Stone Edge on this thing, or else he would have definitely have won. Goes for another superpower, not able to kill, but does get the static, which is very unfortunate. Zapdos decides to roost right there. If it went for a Heat Wave, it would have been over right there. Switches out into Mawile on the second roost. Goes for a Heat Wave, not able to take out the Mawile, but a Stone Edge is able to take out the Zapdos. And it brings out Ninetales now. I don't know why he didn't go for Volcarona, that would have been game right there. Goes for an Aurora Veil. Freeze Dry is not able to do a whole lot, but Thunder Punch is able to connect and paralyze the Ninetales. So then Scarf Buzzwole is able to outspeed and eventually whittle it down because of a lot of paralysis from Ninetales. So it's going to lead both Buzzwole and Mega Mawile, both very slow and very weak for Volcarona just to sweep the last two. But man, Chris only lost 1-0 to GV Center, which in my opinion is a win in his books. He just started competitive like back in August when all of us were been doing it for at very least a year. I think he played very well. I'm very proud of him, and he should be able to get a win very soon. GV Center is now 3-0, and I do believe plus 12, which is very crazy. It was crazy. I still don't see anything that could stop him anytime soon. Let's go on to the second matchup, as it's still loading apparently, as we have Peanut Butter Nakora and the Uprising Flygons taking on Mandy the Turtle and the Gainesville Goodras. I knew it was a Goodras, I just forgot what the city name was. Celesteela, Mega Gardevoir, Scolipede, and Napoleon, Electivire, Shaman, taking on Crobat, Tapu Fini, Ferrothorn, Galvantula, Crocodile, and Magmortar. I do see a pretty big weakness to fire by Nakora's Celesteela, then there's Scolipede, and then there's Shaman with 0 resists. So really, Magmortar should be able to spam Flamethrower, and if it is a special Crobat, should be able to spam Heat Wave, which should actually be a pretty big game right there. But let's get right into it. We have Galvantula going one-on-one against Mega Gardevoir. Mega evolves first turn as a Sticky Webs comes out, goes for Hyper Voice, but does take the Galvantula to its stash, decides to switch out into Ferrothorn right now as Electivire comes out as well. Knowing that probably has Fire Punch, switches out a Crocodile and on the set Fire Punch, but unfortunately gets the burn, which pretty much makes Crocodile useless. Decides to switch out into Shaman on the Crocodile's knockoff. Really nice play there to get whatever item it has. Goes for a second knockoff, probably proving that it is either Choice or Banded. Banded or Scarfed. Switches out onto Napoleon after the Shaman goes for a Leech Seed, goes for another knockoff, does in fact get rid of the leftovers. So 2 items from Nakora gone. Crocodile decides to switch out into Ferrothorn on the Defog, getting rid of the webs, which is very important late game, as a Leech Seed does connect to Celesteela, switches out and Magmortar on the Flamethrower. Does get the critical hit, but still doesn't do that much, and Leech Seed just brings it back up to almost full. As Napoleon comes out on the Flamethrower, not doing a whole lot, but also not doing great damage either. Decides to switch out into Electivire on the Focus Blast, does in fact miss. I don't know if it would really matter or not, but Galvantula comes in on an Earthquake and does take it out. Crocodile comes out, goes for an Earthquake, trying to catch a Electivire. I think it was Scarfed, as goes for another Earthquake as Shaman decides to go for a Tailwind, try to get as much boost as he can. Dazzling Gleam, it does in fact take out the Crocodile. And now Crobat is able to come out, switches out into Electivire on the Nasty Plot, and Electivire is going to be faster this turn, so he switches out into Ferrothorn on the Wild Charge. Does only 14%, and we see his Rocky Helmet, leftovers Ferrothorn. Fire Punch comes out, not able to take it out, but does get it low health. As Leech Seed comes out, Leech Seed leftovers does bring it back up to almost full. Decides to switch out into Celesteela on the Fini switching as well. Fini stays in for some reason on the Giga Drain as a taunt comes out, thinking that it was a defensive Celesteela, but he has yet to bring defensive Celesteela. All of these have been offensive. So Giga Drain does not do a lot to Magmortar, so he switches out into Empoleon. Empoleon does not take 2 Flamethrowers from this range, goes for an Aqua Jet, which does do pretty good damage to the Magmortar, as Empoleon is the first thing to go down on Nakora's team. Switches out into Gardevoir, does in fact take out the Magmortar, and that's a free switch into Tapu Fini. Fini decides to go for a Nature's Madness on the Celesteela switch-in. As now he switches into Crobat now on the Giga Drain, only does 7%, and he switches out into Electivire on the Nasty Plot. Goes for a Sludge Bomb, not able to take out the Electivire, unfortunately, and Wild Charge is in fact able to take out the Crobat as well as himself. Ferrothorn comes out on the Celesteela as well, goes for a Flamethrower, is able to take it out, gets the Beast Boost there. and it is just Finney versus the world. Giga Drain, 2 Giga Drains is able to take it out, not just one. But offensive Celesteela, it has been Nakara's go-to, and it has been getting, I think this is its 11th and 12th kill this season. It is leading by, I think, 4, which is just crazy after just 3 weeks. Mandy gets his first loss of the season, and that puts Lucy #1 in their division, as we'll go over later. Next up, we have Sir Hawthorne and the San Francisco Royals taking on Treasure Orb. I can't read, guys. I've never been able to. And the Indianapolis Infernape. Tracheon, Latias, Manectric, Gligar, Silvally, and Togekiss taking on Shiinotic, Shuckle, Darmanitan, Zoroark, Golbat, and Mega Aggron. Sir Hawthorne is trying to get his first win of the season. He even made a trade. I do believe he dropped Malamar for Gliscod, but he did not bring that, obviously, this week. Let's get right into this. We have Golbat going one-on-one against Togekiss. Decides to switch out of Gligar, not knowing what it is. Goes for Sludge Bomb, as it's probably Zoroark in disguise. Switches out into Aggron on the Stealth Rocks from Gligar. Gligar switches into Togekiss. I don't know why. On the Power Up Punch, not doing a whole lot at all. Gets a Key Berry, which raises the defense, which is very interesting. Aura Sphere, not able to do half to it. Aggron goes for a Heavy Slam, is able to take out the Togekiss. And Manectric comes out, switches out into Darmanitan, and we actually see that is Z Inferno Overdrive, not able to take out the Darmanitan, which sucks a lot. Goes for a Flare Blitz, does a lot of damage to the Gligar. Goes for another Flare Blitz, is able to take it out, and Darmanitan is sitting at 8%. Silvally decides to come out. Flare Blitz is able to take out the Silvally as Darmanitan finally goes down himself. Latias comes out, as the Shuckle also comes out. Latias goes for a trick, giving him the Choice Band, as Shuckle decides to go for an Encore. Latias decides to switch out into Manectric. On the Golbat switch in, goes for a Dark Pulse, as we see it is actually Zoroark in disguise. Terrakion comes out, goes into a Shuckle, as Shuckle does go down to Terrakion's close combat, and we're sitting 4v2. Shiinotic comes out, and Shiinotic is going to go for a Spore on the Latias, putting it to sleep, obviously, as Latias gets Strength Sap, which loses its attack, as we saw it was Choice Banded. Wakes up, and we actually see it is special, which is very surprising. I did not see that coming from Polly, but anyway, it actually had the red card, so Shiinotic actually goes away. On the Psychic, goes for a Heavy Slam, not able to take it out, switches out into Terrakion. I don't know why they didn't Heavy Slam again, but I think that would have won the game. But Close Combat is able to do a lot to Aggron, as Sleep Talk goes to rest again. I think Heavy Slam would have been able to kill and won the game for Sir Hawthorne, but Terrakion is able to get the kill over Mega Aggron, as Golbat comes out again, switches out into Latias, does die to an Air Slash, and we're sitting at 1v3. Terrakion comes out. I do believe it was banded or something. Golbat goes for an Air Slash, not able to do a whole lot to Terrakion. Stone Edge is able to take out Golbat and goes out into Zoroark. And now Zoroark dies to a Stone Edge as well, and we're sitting at 1v1. Can Shiinotic live ahead, get Strength Step, and win the game? No, it cannot. And Sir Hawthorne is now 0-for-3 in this league, unfortunately. But good game to both people, and I'll catch you guys for the 2 Sunday night games. And today is Monday, and the week 3 ended last night with these last 2 battles. I just finished up the document. Everything's all said and done, and excuse my voice, not really coming down with anything, but like I went to a Sabres game yesterday and I was screaming a lot and I lost my voice. Yeah, it doesn't help that I've just been talking all day today, and it's probably going to get even worse and worse. So excuse my voice, it should only be a few more minutes. But the first of the 2, we have It's Byron and the Pittsburgh Red Steelers taking on Ninetales coach of Ninetales. Tornadus T, Slowbro, Mammothswine, Mega Altaria, Weezing, and Zeraora, taking on Slurpuff, Infernape, Exploud, Registeel, Lycanroc, Dusk, and Mega Slowbro. Hopefully Zeraora can finally put in some work in this match. Should be able to, especially with that Slowbro looking right at it, deep into its thoughts. Other way around, like Calm Mind Slowbro, which spoiler alert he does bring, does do a lot of damage to Byron's team, especially with Ice Beam and Surf and whatnot. But let's see how this battle goes as we start the clock. Slurpuff goes a one-on-one against Slowbro with Sticky Whips and Scald switch with each other. Goes for a Thunderbolt, is able to connect, but only does do about half. Another Scald does in fact burn Slurpuff, which doesn't really matter because it is in fact special. Goes right out into Mammothswine to catch this Thunderbolt again, as it does in fact happen, as a Ice Shard is in fact going to take out the Slurpuff. And we're sitting at 6v5 right now. As the Fernape comes out, easiest U-turn, as I was going to say Flare Blitz, but I remember that's later. As Exploud comes out, and Exploud is a beast, especially if its opponent is slower than it. Doesn't really happen that often, that's why it's a little lower tier Pokemon. Zeraora is still actually faster. Goes for a Gigaball Havoc, and still not able to take out his first Mon of the season. Mammothswine comes out now as he switches out into Slowbro on the Ice Shard, as not able to do a lot of damage at all, 7%, that is it. As Tornadus comes out on the Slowbro's Calm Mind, as I said he did bring. Dark Pulse comes out, only does 44, and that is an easy Ice Beam to take out the Tornadus, and we're sitting at 5v3. Mega Altaria Mega Evolves and goes for a Dragon Dance, probably predicting a Slack Off, as he does. I do believe that he could have gone for another Dragon Dance, because he does live the Ice Beam, as the return only to 30%, as we see it again. Goes for another Ice Beam, is in fact able to take it out. As now his own Slowbro comes out trying to take on his father, or in this case his mother. Slack Off, obviously going to do a lot of good for Ninetales, as Toxic does come out, hoping to try to get this thing lowered. Shadow Ball also comes out, only does about 25% to it. Calm Mind Slowbro is a beast. Switches out Exploud, trying to predict this Shadow Ball again, as it did in fact happen. Exploud then goes for a Boom Burst, is able to take out the Slowbro, as now Mammothswine comes out. He goes for an Ice Shard, is able to take out the Exploud. As we now, Infernape comes out, Infernape goes for a Flare Blitz, and it does in fact take out the Mammothswine, and Ninetales wins his third match of the PSBL Season 3, 4-0. Next up, we have my best friend, Cody, and the Holland Heracross taking on Kowasabi and the Salt Lake Spindas. We have Heatran, Sylveon, Excelgor, Moongus, Salamence, and Manaphy taking on Charizard, X, Avalugg, Espeon, Hitmonlee, Yanmega, and Ditto. I could see a setup mon in both Manaphy and Salamence, so Ditto could be very, very crucial in the late game. Also, Charizard should be able to have a very good game, especially Earthquake on Heatran, Flare Blitz on Excelgor and Amoonguss, and Dragon Claw on Yanmega, of course, Yanmega, Salamence. But let's see what happens as we get into this, as we have Yanmega going one-on-one against Heatran, as we see a Hidden Power Ground, great prep, but unfortunately there was a Shuca Berry on Heatran, which does allow Heatran to take out the Yanmega with Lava Plume. Then next comes Charizard X, as he Mega Evolves. Cody stays in and goes for an Earth Power, which is very nice prep on his part, getting Charizard down to 14%. Does in fact kill the Heatran though, but that does the damage for Excelgor to come out, go for a Water Shuriken, and able to take out Mega Charizard X. Ditto now comes out, taking hold of Excelgor as he switches out into Salamence. Bug Buzz only does 27%. As Avalugg comes out on the Dragon Dance from Salamence, it goes for an all-out pummeling, as Avalugg actually eats that with 31% left, goes for an Avalanche, and in fact kills the Salamence. Sylveon now comes out. Sylveon is going to go for a Hyper Voice, but Ditto comes out not able to eat that well at all because of that HP that Ditto has. goes for a wish as he switches out into Espeon on the Spore, making that wish basically useless. Goes for Psychic, is able to take out the Amogus, unfortunately, as now Excelgor comes out, goes for a Bug Buzz, is able to take on the Espeon, as now Ditto comes out again, as he goes out into Sylveon, eating that Bug Buzz up very nicely. Decides to switch out into Avalugg now on the Hyper Voice, is in fact able to take out, as now we have Ditto now, going into the Sylveon goes for Hyper Voice, not able to do a whole lot, as now Hyper Voice does in fact kill the Ditto. That is 2 kills for Sylveon, and it even gets the Hitmonlee down to its Endure, which he did bring last week. Is going to be able to take out the Sylveon with a Poison Jab, but there's still the Excelgor with the priority Water Shuriken, and is able to take out the Hitmonlee. So congratulations to Cody for your first win of the PSBL and your singles. And yeah, that's basically it. Right now, in our league leaders, as we see, there's a anonymous hippo. Is that me? I think that's me. Yeah, it's me. And the anonymous panda, looking at the league leaders, as I just updated that just a little while ago. This time there's been a little bit change between the kill to death ratio and the offensive league leaders. Not too much, but a little bit. As we have Exploud and Excelgor, both 4 kills, 1 death, getting that 4 ratio. Both Garchomp Mega and Kyurem are both 5-0. Terrakion is 6-1. Neolego is 6-0. Azumarill and Hawlucha are both 8-1. Volcarona is 9, and Celesteela is 12. Next up, let's go over to the defensive league leaders, as we have Hawlucha and Gliscor both at 9 hits taken and 0 burn poison damage. Just a reminder, I did mess up at the beginning of the season. I should not have counted this, but I did. Leech Seed damage does count as burned, and poison damage, that was my fault. I'll be fixed next season. But Clefable has 11 hits taken. I do believe it was number 2 last week. It is now number 8 this week. Klefki and Mega Steelix both have 12 hits taken. Blissey is 13, along with Porygon 2. Type Null is at 15. So I like how Pearl is now has 2 defensive mons in the top 10, along with Bryce here. I wonder how that happened. But anyway, Alamola drops from number 1 to number 2 with 17 and 24, with Umbreon at 22 and 10. In case you guys haven't realized by now, I do the hits taken first as the first column, whatever's higher, and then I go to this in case those last 2 are tied, and if for some reason those 2 are tied, then I go to deaths. So that's how I rank these up. But finally, the moment that we've all been waiting for is the offensive league leaders, as we have Bulu sitting in 10th place literally just because of the name. It was actually number 1 in the alphabetical order. Really, there was 3 mons that were 5 kills, 2 deaths. So Bryce got lucky that he's in the top 10 for another week. Garchomp and Kyurem are both 5-0. Hitmonlee drops down to 6-2. Only got 1 kill this week. Terrakion has 6 kills, only 1 death. Neolego has 6 kills and 0 deaths. Both Hawlucha and Azumarill are at 8 kills and 1 death. The only reason why Hawlucha dropped was because of I go by alphabetical order, so Azumarill technically is in the lead because of that reason. Volcarona is 9 kills, 0 deaths, and Celesteela is sitting at 12 kills and 0 deaths. Let's go over to the standings right now, as there was a couple movements. Let's go over to the Moon. Actually, I started with the Moon Division last time, so let's go over to the Sun Division, as we have Twente staying put at 0-3, the only team in the Sun Conference that is 0-3. Then 100 1-2s, mainly just 5, but only separated by differential, as we see the biggest one is 1-2 -3. That seems to be the most popular with me, the Gliscors, and the Magikarps. For this one, I'm not doing none of these guys face against each other, else that would have been the first one up. So I just put everyone in the same order. Like last week, I was ahead of both of these guys, so I just put myself ahead of both these guys for this week. Once we face against each other and say like the Gliscors beat me, and we still have the same differential and same record by the end of the season, then yes, the Gliscors will be in front of me. But since I haven't faced them yet, that's why I have it like this. Mike, with his first win of the season, actually has a playoff spot at first. 1, 2, and 0. Mandy drops down from 2nd to 5th. She's now 2, 1, and 1. Hooby started off very poorly to begin the season, is now just 2, 1, and 2. Bryce bruises up again a couple spots, has a better differential than the Coilers, but does not have this better record, as Ninetales is holding on the top spot for yet another week, his second week in a row, as we go over to the Moon Conference. And this one was actually not a lot of movement. We have 2 players in the bottom 2, the Royals and the Starmies sitting at the bottom, 0-3 and -8 and -10, excuse me, as I hiccuped basically. Got another 4 of 1 and 2s separated by only differential, with Jake and the Anaheim Arcanines sitting on top. I would like to say again, congratulations to Cody for this, moving up 2 spots. I do believe that's a big jump in the conference. Next we have 3 teams that are 2 and 1, separated by only differential again, 4, 2, 1 respectively for their opponents, for their teams, as we still have like basically the top 4 stay the same, 1, 2, 3, 4, separated by only differential and 1 win-loss record. I don't really feel like pausing the video again, but I did forget to go through the schedule yet again. But we'll do my best to do that. Ignore this gray out right here. These 2 already fought for week 4. I'm not going to give you the spoilers. But next up we have the Kartanas taking on the Gliscors. And I do believe that Kartanas are on a hot streak right now. I do believe that they are going to be able to pull out the win. We have Ninetales versus the Illusions, Stall versus Hyper Offense, and I do believe that Superior is going to be putting in the work, especially in Grassy Train, if Bryce does decide to bring Grassy Train, and Ninetales decide to bring Superior. I do think that Ninetales is going to continue his winning ways and pull out the victory. Next up we have myself versus the Magikarps, and I do believe I have a good, I'm always going to vote for myself, so it's going to be me. Basically versus the Coilers, I do not see Lucy losing with that, gosh, what's the thing called? You know, I just keep having brain farts. I'm not good with my words, guys. The Mega Camerupt, Tentacles versus Goodras. Matey's going to go her winning way. I do believe that the Goodras are going to pull out the win. Metagross versus the Arcanines for the Sun and Moon swap over week, as I almost like stapled my fingers together. I with the stapler, and I almost stapled my finger. But I do believe that this is going to be a very important game. Whatever team goes 1 and 3 is going to be behind really by a lot. Even though these teams are both technically in playoff positions, a 1 and 3 record is not good to start. I do believe that the Arcanines are going to pull out the win. I just think they have a better team all in general. But this one could go either way. This one's I'm actually going to keep a close eye for. For the other side, we have the Royals taking on the Beedrills. It's going to be a very interesting match. The Royals are still looking for their first win, but I do believe that the Beedrills are going to stop them from doing that. And we also have the Dragons and the Spindas. I don't see anything stopping GV Center, although Chris almost did. Thumbs up to Chris. But I do believe that the Dragons are going to win. Excuse me. Next up is the Infernape versus the Heracross. And I do believe that the Infernapes are going to pull out the win. I'm sorry, Cody. He just has a really good team, and it matches up very well against you. But I know you're going to pull out your best work, and it's going to be a close one. I'm going to say that the Lake Rush are going to win. It's not because I know who is going to win, but I just think that the Lake Rush are going to win against Chris. It's just the bottom of the pile versus the top of the pile. I do believe the Lake Rush are going to win. Flygons versus Rapidash. I am going to say that the Flygons are going to win. Again, the Celesteela is just so freaking good. It's leading the kill leader, so we'll definitely see how that goes. And I do believe that is it. Yep, that is all I've seen. Gosh, let me do a quick count up because I was 7-4 from week 2 to 3. Yeah, and now, alright. So, Ninetales did in fact win, so that's a check mark for me. Flygons won, that's a check mark for me. Infernape's won, so that's an X for me. And the Dragons won, so that's a thumbs up for me. And that is a sum of Heracross versus Spindos was a thumb up for me. So 7-4 plus 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I think I got the same record. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yep, I got the same exact record. So right now I am 14-8 throughout just 2 out of 3 weeks there. I know it's not the best, but if I thought about this sooner, I would have thought about something, but I didn't. So suck it up. But I'll catch you guys next week. I hope you guys enjoyed this, and thanks for watching. Peace.